Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Pastor Brinson, how is it that every time I see you, you're always praising God? I told them this: there's a story behind my praise, yeah. Every time I think about how God made a way for me, He picked me up out of the muck and miry clay, and He placed my feet on a solid rock to stay. Though the enemy tried to discourage me, I just keep on praising my Savior, you see. When praises go up, I know my blessings is gonna come down. That's the reason I praise Him. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Terrell Brinson, and thank you for tuning in to my new talk show entitled A Voice, where men and women of all ethnic backgrounds will come together and share their dreams, their goals, their visions, as well as their entrepreneurial accomplishments. I'm joined tonight with a very special guest, Mrs. Margaret Stribling. Mrs. Stribling, how are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It is so good to have you with us on tonight. Of course, you know this is a new show, and I had to reach out to some of my friends to ask if they would be able to come and share in on the launching of this program. And I'm so glad that your schedule allowed you to come, and thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. And I understand that you are an entrepreneur in your own right. You have a business entitled Margaret's Fashion, or Fashions by Margaret, or something like that.
I do.
In just a moment, I'm going to ask you to share with us your vision and tell us a little something about your business. But also, I want to thank you for taking the initiative and going for your dream. Apparently, this started from a thought and you know, maybe even a dream, and you went for it, and now you've been in business now for a number of years. I know a lot of people that you've done business for, who have done business with you, and I've seen some of your work, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So if you would, just tell us a little bit about your business and how it originated, when it originated, and where you're located now with your business.
The business is Fashions by Margaret. It's a formal store. It was originated in Brookhaven, Mississippi. And when we first started the store, I started with my own design. I'm a fashion designer.
Okay.
And we started making gowns, tailored gowns for the individual. And my daughter at that time was in high school, and she wanted a store like Mommy. So I gave her a corner of the store, and it became the Greek corner as she grew older. And we had two businesses. Mine was in Brookhaven, and hers was in Hattiesburg.
Yes.
And after she graduated, it was hard for me to maintain both. So we decided to merge, and we came up with a new store, and we pondered on a name for it. We wanted the perfect name.
Yes.
So we came up with the name A Perfect Gift. And the
Perfect
Perfect Gift, Catrice Stribling, Swapshire, my daughter, her business, the Greek Corner, and Fashions by Margaret, a formal business store, merged together, and it opened a whole world of new businesses for us. She was still in the t-shirt industry, and I was in dressmaking and formal fashion. And we thought, how would these two businesses work together? And the name A Perfect Gift came to mind. So we are now A Perfect Gift. We are an online store, and you can find many other businesses there under A Perfect Gift.
That is really awesome. I just applaud you for, like I said, stepping out there on your own. You know, I know you. I know your character. You could go get a job. You're smart, but you wanted to be an entrepreneur, and you stepped out many years ago, and you did that. And now the Lord bless you with this daughter, and she's watching Mommy at home or at the business doing what she does and enjoying it and making money, and now she's following in your footsteps. And I'm glad for our TV viewing audience to see and hear what we're talking about here, because the purpose of this show, we want to encourage people. We want to be an encouragement to people, those that have had dreams. And you know, we just went through this recession, and it affected a lot of people, so much so that I've heard of people losing their dreams, just giving up on their dreams or whatever, but you all have stayed the course, and it looked like your business is prospering even the more because you stayed with it through the tough time. Did you experience any slow period during the recession?
I did not experience any slow periods during the recession, but what happened is that I decided to adjust my end, my prices and my merchandise so that they would still be able to afford the gowns. You still need to go to the prom, you still need to get married. So what I've done, instead of not being able to support them or them to support the gowns, then I turned around and just lowered the price so that things would still be affordable so they were still able to go.
You did that?
I did that.
You actually lowered your prices so that the people could afford to go.
That's right.
Well, that's awesome. that speaks volume. That speaks love. Also, that you'd be willing to do that because you like gave up a portion of your would-be profit to see to it that this young lady could go to the prom who had you not done that, it could have been a chance that she wouldn't have been able to go, at least not with that beautiful gown on.
It works both ways.
Yes.
If she wasn't able to go to the prom, I had no customer to sell it to, we would both be miserable.
Yes.
So in order to compromise, we were both happy. And by helping that young lady, she told some of her friends, and her friends came to support me. And I also have a referral and a reward program. So anytime you would send me a customer and they're able to get something from us, we do reward them, not only with a thank you and a smile, but we also give them monetary values as well. And we allow that money to go toward the purchase of some gifts or merchandise from our store.
You give people money?
We give back money.
So you understand the concept of sowing and reaping then?
Been doing it all my life.
That is really
awesome. And it has been a truly blessing because the customer really appreciated. The referral fee at the beginning was initially about $20. So that was more than 20% if the gown is $100.
Yes.
Well, at 20%. And when they would come to me this year, I said, well, we can't do 20%, I can do 15. And then she looked at me and she said 15% is still more than I had, so I do appreciate even that.
Wow.
So we're still able to give, but sometimes circumstances prevent us to give the full amount.
Yes.
But our heart is there to give. And when she left, about 5 phone calls came, and they were friends of hers that she'd gone back to school and told about the nice lady and the nice dresses. So it increased my business, and then I was able to call her back and give her her other 5% along with the new.
You sowed, and then you turn around and reap the harvest. Wow, that is really awesome. Well, I'm just I'm very proud of you. I know your husband, I know your family, and I just really appreciate what you all do. You all have our daughters looking glamorous for the proms and whatnot, and that's really awesome. Our time is, you know, anytime you're having a good time discussing something positive and encouraging others, just look like the time just flies. We're getting down now to where our time is running out, but we're going to come back in just a little bit, and then I want you to tell me a little bit more about your business. And I understand that you do more than just one thing. You have like multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
Coming in.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good thing. All right. So we're going to prepare here in just a little bit to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss a little more with Mrs. Margaret Stribling concerning her entrepreneurial structural businesses. We'll be right back.
For more information about Fashions by Margaret, call 601-757-3901 or log on to fashionsbymargaret.com or email fashionsbymargaret@hotmail.com. Pastor Terrell Brinson is a gospel recording artist and pastor of Grateful Ministries International, Brookhaven, Mississippi. For more inquiries about church services and time, CDs, acquisition, and to be a guest on a voice, call 601-757-66 6601 or email tbrinson4@comcast.net. Tune into A Voice, a show where men and women share their visions, dreams, goals, and entrepreneurial accomplishments. Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 7:30 a.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 18.
We're back. I'm your host, Terrell Brinson, of my new show, A Voice. And my special guest tonight is Mrs. Margaret Stribling. Mrs. Stribling, we've been talking a little bit tonight concerning your one of your businesses, Fashions by Margaret, and you were sharing that your daughter has come in with you now, and you all are like doing this thing on a tag team basis. Let me ask you something. How long have you been in business?
We've been in business since 1989.
Okay, that's what you started in '89.
We started in '89. We became incorporated in 1989. We had worked prior to that about 2 or 3 years, so we have an overall 25-year in business experience.
Okay, given the fact that all businesses have to start somewhere, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur?
I was making gowns for myself, and one of my friends saw the dresses that I was making, and she told me they were very beautiful, and she asked me to make one for her daughter to put in beauty pageants. And I said, while I was making one for her daughter, I may as well make one for my daughter as well. So I made my daughter's first pageant dress. Wow. And I remember the dress. It was a little red dress with little white beads all over. It was absolutely beautiful. And I entered her into a beauty competition in Hattiesburg, and she was the only African-American child there, and she was only 4 years old. It was her very first pageant. And I remember seeing her walk out on that stage in that dress, and the audience went wild when she came out. It was, that's beautiful. And I heard the words, and I saw her smile. And it was such a beautiful sight there, seeing her display my gown at 4 years old on stage. And I was not anticipating an overall win, but at least a win. So when they called third place, it wasn't her name. Second place, it wasn't her name. My heart started to melt because I'm thinking, oh, those was my choices there. And finally, first runner-up, still not my daughter. And they said, most beautiful, Catrice Stribling. And everybody in the place co-signed on it. They were all ecstatic. And when I saw her there, not only did she win most beautiful, she won best dress and the swimwear competition at age 4. And I saw her smiling on stage, and the excitement filled my heart. So needless to say, as her parent, I was just all over the place with excitement. And that came into my spirit, and it filled me to think that if I can put my daughter on stage and to make a gown that someone deemed to be the most prettiest dress there out of all the dresses, then it gave me encouragement that I can do whatever it was that I was thinking about doing, which was going into fashion. And when I saw her there and them co-signing on it, it was everything that I needed to get started. And we've been making winners ever since. I've been filling their hearts and their minds with positive things, that they're not winners just on stage, but in life they're winners. And the dress isn't all that wins, but you come out a winner as well, just having the courage to go up there. And she did that for me, and she's been modeling and helping mother ever since.
Wow, that is really awesome. And you know, you took me way back when you was talking about the number 3, 2. I also, many years ago now, when I was in school, and I was in this talent show, and the exact same thing. They called out the third place winner, it wasn't me. Second place, first place, it wasn't me. I just said, well, and then the overall winner. So I know that experience. I know how that feels. But since this, now, were you able to get any business back then from that night, from her winning that night, wearing that gown that night?
Every mother in that building came up to me and said, where did you get that dress from? And I told them I had made that gown, and they couldn't believe it. And it was indeed my first gown, and I have it to this day, and it's over 25 years old now.
Wow.
So I keep that, and I look back on that, and I look at her trophy, and I remember the beginning of the business. The business was born that day.
Yeah.
It was born in my heart and in my spirit. And since then, we've done everything to perfect that skill.
Like I said, I've known your family for a while now, and the Lord has blessed you. You're doing very well, and as a result of you being so gifted with your hands, your business now is booming. So what would you attribute? I know it's going to be God first, but other than after God, where do you attribute your success to? What do you attribute it to?
Well, I have to give it to him first, because he did bless my hands.
That's right.
To have the talent to do that. And then my family would be second. My family supports me 100%. They've been there from the garage to the store. I've just have an amazing family. It's a small family, my husband, my daughter, myself, and they've always given me the yes you can and yes you can. And when I wanted a building to rent, he was behind me 100%. You can do this. And then I wanted to buy a building or have a building made, built rather, and he was behind me even then. So he's been with me the whole 9 ways. So I give honor to God for the blessings that he's given me, and to my family for being there and supporting me through it all. So it's been truly a blessing.
Now, you got started in Brookhaven. I remember when you all lived in Brookhaven. Now, were you able to make gowns for young ladies while you were in Brookhaven?
We serviced the Brookhaven community very well. They were our loyal customer there, all of the local schools. And when I would go out to the supermarkets to buy my grocery, a lot of the little girls would walk up and run up to me and grab my leg, and they would say, "Mama, Mama, it's Miss Margaret. You made my dress," and I won. And they would always be excitement and excited people. And then when we would venture into Jackson, there would be some of my clients would even be here at the mall when I'm walking through, and they would say, "Hi, Miss Margaret," and I'm looking like, "Hi, sweetheart."
You don't know.
But I know every dress that I've ever made. I may not remember their names, but I remember all their faces, because I have to stay with them for many hours, and I studied them and the dress to make them one.
That's right.
So I do remember them, and it's always a blessing to see some of my customers in the public.
I know all the dresses are different, but how long does it normally take to make a dress?
Most don't believe me, but I take about 2.5 hours to make a pageant dress. Most others may take up to 5 to 8 hours straight work. This is from cutting to actually putting it on the person. But I perfected it each day. I would try to get faster and better at what I was doing. And I got my last time was 2.5 hours to make a gown.
And still have quality, still have substance, but able to go ahead and make it done, to get it done and not procrastinate over it.
I mostly work on the floor instead of a table, so I just lay it all out and I cut it out, I pick it up, I put it together, and my nephew came in the other day and he says, "Auntie, I left, it was fabric on the floor. I came back and you have a dress on the mannequin." And that was his first time seeing me at work, so he called it a gift from God and told me I was truly blessed, and I do believe that.
Yes. Well, listen, I just pray, we're going to prepare to take a break in a minute, but I just pray that those that are watching this show, like I said, the purpose of this show is simply to encourage people to know that if you got a dream, don't give up on your dream. If you got a vision, stay with your vision. If it's taking a while, just stay with it. It's going to come to pass. And you are evident of that tonight. And I thank you so much for being here with me. We're going to take a break now. And when we come back, we're going to conclude our conversation with Mrs. Margaret Stribling. Stay tuned.
For more information about Fashions by Margaret, call 601-757-3901 or log on to fashionsbymargaret.com or email fashionsbymargaret@hotmail.com. Tune into A Voice, a show where men and women share their visions, dreams, goals, and entrepreneur accomplishments. Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 7:30 a.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 18.
We're back. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host tonight for my new TV show entitled A Voice. And my guest has been tonight, Mrs. Margaret Stribling. We've been talking about her businesses. She have a multiple stream of income coming in from several different businesses, and she's an entrepreneur in her own right. And Mrs. Stribling, I wanted to ask you, what are the qualifications needed for this type business as it relate to your fashion business?
The qualification needed is a determined mind, someone who's willing to work hard, and someone who will not give up. Because there will be times when you would be told no, but you have to dig deep within and continue to press on, because there are so many things that will deter you from your goal. So if you keep your goal focused, you do not have to have any extra skills or any real schooling for this. I took home economics when I was about 15 years old, like everybody else back in the day, and that's the only sewing that I had. I watched my mother and my grandmother sew, and I prayed much for it. So it wasn't that I was trained or that I had to venture off into a school for fashion. I stay up with all of the latest fashion, all of the fads and trends, but the dedication that I have, the devotion to the job, you have to condition your mind. When you work for yourself, everybody thinks you can just be lazy or do whatever you want.
Can't do
but
it.
You have to work harder and smarter than
right.
you've ever worked before. And so if you have that inside of you, if you're that type person, if you're willing to dig inside of you and to reach for your goals and your dreams and your ambitions in life, then that's your focus. You keep that in front of you, and you work hard every day. You set goals and rules for yourself. If you're going to work from 9 to 5, work from 9 to 5. Find something to do within that time. Condition and govern yourself to stay focused. And that's what I have to do every day. And I have to maintain that each and every day.
And that working for yourself. You have to motivate yourself. You got to get up. You can't be lazy because I don't have to punch a clock for nobody else. But like you said, you have to go for it and really work hard for yourself. Now I see you've bought some items with you. If you would, show our viewing audience some of what the Lord has blessed your hands to do.
Well, this is one of the, under the umbrella of a perfect gift. This is something that you can have. We do etching, engraving, monogramming, some call it. We write on glass, we write on wood, we write on anything. So if you have a special gift that you want, you can have it personalized, and it will become more of a valuable asset to you. We have unique gifts. This is a keychain. It has a little light on it, so it gives you a little bit more than your average. You can put their initials on it. It's great for wedding gifts and things of that type. And we also have a line of clothing that we're starting. It's a positive message clothing. What we have here is a shirt of encouragement, and it simply say "Black Girls Rock," and there's a lot of beautiful girls, and when you wear the shirt, you just feel like one of those beautiful girls on the shirt. And we also do positive messages, such as we have one called "I'm a Little Hoot Owl," meaning I give a hoot. And the hoot owls are for the school age kids there, and it say I'm a hoot owl, I get good grades. So whatever encouraged them to become that hoot owl and to care. I'm a hoot owl, I don't bully. So it's just a positive line of shirts, and we're always very colorful with them, and we use things that they could use every day. We print on bags. It doesn't matter what it is, what substrate you have, we embellish for you. We put your school logos on them. This is a shirt that we started. Also, we do this jacket rather for churches, and what this has is the name of the church. It has your favorite scripture, so you can embellish anything that you want, and this is a perfect gift for anyone. And it keeps them encouraged, and they're walking around every day with something on that you want them to wear, as opposed to just picking something up out of a store. So we do encourage everyone to use a perfect gift. It's an online website, and it is www.aperfectgiftforyou.com.
That's awesome. I like that shirt. I just wish it had my name and initials engraved on it. I'd take it home with me. But that's really nice. You do great work. That is really nice.
Well, thank you.
What keeps you going? I know, just like with anything else, you buy a new car. When you get it, you're excited to have it. Still got that new car smell. But after a period of time, you know, you get used to it. What motivates you and keep you going year in and year out, working for yourself?
Well, the first thing I do every morning as a source of encouragement to myself, because the Bible teaches us to encourage ourselves, we do a daily devotion. I spend time with the Lord upon waking every morning.
Yes.
And I share with Him what it is that I want to do that day, because I realize that He's given me a new day and that I need to do something positive that day. So we have our devotion together, and I tell Him to bless me and to strengthen me to do something positive that day with my life and with my business. And each day I'm given new assignments. I have new phone calls coming in, and I contribute all of that to the way my day began. It begins with a positive note, and I stay focused throughout that day because I know that it is His day that He's given me, and I want to give back to Him something during that day.
And He also gives us visions and dreams. When you start out early with Him, He'll direct your path throughout that day. He'll give you ideas. We call them spiritual strategies that He'll give you to be able to provide for yourself and live the good life. I read in the book of Deuteronomy where He says, I've given you the ability to create wealth. The ability is in you. There's greatness down on the inside of you, and that's the purpose of this show. I want every viewing person that watched this show to be encouraged as they watch, and when it goes off the air, at night, I want it to go off leaving them thinking, you know what, I really appreciate what she said, and if she can do that and stay with it, I can do it too. And so we just want to be an inspiration to people of all ethnic background. We're not, leaving anybody out, but we want people just to know that there is greatness down on the inside of them, and we want to push them to go for their dreams and for their goals, because as a pastor myself, and I see and counsel a lot of hurting people, and many have just given up on their dreams. They don't see because they're trying to see with their eyes. They just can't see no way for their dream to manifest. So my job is, as believers, is to encourage them that don't worry about trying to see it in the natural, but if you can speak it in the spirit realm first, that will cause the manifestation in God's timing. But I thank you for being here. You are an inspiration to the community. You've done a lot of great work throughout Brookhaven and Jackson, and I just believe that many doors are going to open up for you. Now, we were talking a little earlier, and I know we're not going to have a whole lot of time to deal with this, but you mentioned something earlier about other businesses getting together, a pool of businesses. What was that about?
I go to other businesses and I ask them if they would like for me to either put my ideas or gifts in their store. They do not have to pay for them. They just let me display them, and they are able to keep their revenue someplace else while I help them generate new revenues.
Well, that's beautiful. Looking out for somebody else. Now, before we go, our time is out, but if you would, leave a contact number for somebody that may want to dress or want to patronize your business, and your email address.
My email address is fashionsbymargaret@hotmail.com, and my phone number is 601-757-3901.
It's been such a blessing having you tonight as my guest. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking out of your busy schedule. And I thank you all for tuning in to this show. Tell your friends about us. This is a new show. It's called A Voice, and I'm your host, Terrell Brinson. Have a great night.